Hello family, welcome back to the Ebony Odyssey. My name is Jermaine Long and I am a servant of the Most High God. I really appreciate you for coming along, and as always, enjoy the journey. Today's topic is the fear for the young. The fear for the young. And my support scripture for this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 26, verse 5, which read, "There are three things that mine heart feareth, and for the fourth I was sore afraid: the slanderer of a city, the gathering together of an unruly multitude, and the false accusation. All these are worse than death." And this title, The Fear for the Young, comes from, an interaction between, a young man this weekend and some young ladies. And, the interaction was innocent, but the fear of, the things that are said, is truly worse than death. Me and a good friend of mine were sitting and we were talking, and his son came back, and he had some things that was puzzling him and troubling him, because it was untrue, but the perception of it was worse than what actually happened. And trying to navigate how to teach our young men how to conduct themselves around young ladies, but in this era of, Me Too, everything is about harassment, everything is about, misogyny, everything is about men just being unruly, which is not necessarily the case. Things that are naturally innocent nowadays, because of the media, because of the world, it is driving people to be, very cautious. Even the young men are now, so aware and cautious and scared, to interact, in a sense, because of being labeled something that they're not. And this verse, I think, speaks to everything that has happened in these recent years with all of the, slander, for those who did not deserve it, And so this verse really, really hits home with, there be three things that mine heart feareth. Man, we have to now be so much more fearful, but guess what? This is written in the Apocrypha. This was written way before the Me Too movement, because guess what? It was most likely happening then. It is nothing new under the sun, as we all know. But right here, that my heart feareth, the slanderer of a city. When somebody is a slanderer is the utterance of a false charge or a misrepresentation which defame and damage another's reputation. A slanderer is exactly what happened between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. It has been so many other cases that are high profile here recently, but I don't try to follow the news that much, so I'm sorry I can't give you example after example, but I know it was a boxer and a young lady that accused him of touching a child inappropriate, and then come back and said it was a lie. A lot of these other things that have been going on people saying one thing, locking people up for years, and come to find out later on down the line, it was a lie. Emmett Till, it was a lie. And, with those things being said, how can you not be afraid as a man to lose your a majority of your life, to lose your freedom? And the fear for the young is, I'm seeing the fear of these young men now, unable or nervous in a sense to engage, to have conversation, because of people throwing around false accusations. It's one of these things that I remember, I'm sitting here with my oldest, and we were sitting in here, and we were on the couch. He was on one end, I was on the other, and my wife was there. And I think I was walking, right? And I messed with my wife, and she said, "Oh, stop." And then my son looked at us, "Oh, Dad is not hurting you. Stop yelling out, saying that." And, she just was looking. But even though through our playing, children are aware. Children are aware of the times that we are in, and how important a reputation is, and how important it is to not slander a person, how not to over exaggerate an event. Like this movement, the gathering of an unruly multitude. When you get more people in groups who perceive a certain thing a certain way, they become even more unruly. And their cries and their yelling, these are the same things that crucified Jesus. The people got in a crowd, and even though he had healed many, the accusations, the slander, this is what prompted that unruly crowd to go forward, right? And also, just the false accusation. All of these are worse than death. Yeah, because some of these things can take away years off of your life. And the fear for the young, it's like, what will our young men experience going forward? How can they overcome these hills? I'm just going to continue to pray and continue to teach. I don't know why the book of Ecclesiasticus is not taught in church on a regular basis, because it has a lot of eye-opening things to how the world is now. It's coming out of this book right here. What had happened then is the same thing that happened now. And because we sometimes don't teach out of these extended texts, it causes a knowledge base to be lost. And I think that, just me and my opinion, is very important for the youth, for the adults, for anybody who is not getting the word taught properly. But family, I appreciate you for coming along, and as always, enjoy